Hi everyone. So I've made another collage and I've used these papers. So papers that I printed on my computer that I have designed recently and over decades. Things from my sketchbook, different digital designs. So what I did was I cut these up and I created this collage, which I never know how much to show you, but this is the collage that I created, which actually makes me quite happy. I really love these colors. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to watch me make a collage. I actually think that the volume has worked on every one of my clips, so maybe you'll actually hear what I'm saying. And if you'd like to watch me make a collage, then let's hang out. See you later. Good morning, everyone. It's early. It's only 8:30. But I've been up since 5, and I've been drinking coffee and reading all of your comments, and there were hundreds of them that I had not responded to. So I've responded to all of your comments, and thank you so much for your encouragement, because sometimes I just really need to have a pat on the back. So anyways, I'm getting ready to start another collage. I'm going to do another 16 by 20 collage. And if you'd like to watch me do that, that's what we're going to do. So I've got a contact sheet that I created in Photoshop. I have thousands of images, guys, thousands of images that I've created over the years through a digital platform called Polyvore that has now been replaced by a platform called URSTYLE. And I do have a video on that. Maybe I'll link it in the description. Anyways, so what I've created is a bunch of images that I think will work well together in a collage, and I want to show them to you. So this first image this was done with hand-carved stamps. This was a very large stamp, and it made me crazy trying to figure out how those branches go behind one another, but yeah, so that's that. I've also added just a little bit of digital texture behind some of these so they're not solid black and white. That's from my sketchbook. This is sort of a seagrass looking thing. This is back from 2010. Just a digital collage while I was teaching myself abstract collage. Some of you may have actually seen this. I don't even know if this has an up or a down. Some of you might have seen this. This is actually, I have clothing made out of this. I have a jacket made out of the gray and a shirt made out of the black and red. This is from my sketchbook. You've probably seen this. This is just a jug, a water jug, a vase from my sketchbook. This is a process that I learned in Procreate called Liquify, where you pull in a piece of art and you use your Apple pen to stretch it out, and you keep doing it until it makes you happy. And this makes me happy. I love these colors. I love the contrast. So that's in there. This is something I drew in Procreate, which is just little cutout rings, and I actually doubled. I created, this was much larger and I decided to scale it down. Some hand-sketched geometric things over a liquid whatever, little dots and stuff like that, and a little wood grain whatever. Okay, so I have done something off camera. Hold on a second. And now I have to switch over to giant view so that you can see what I'm going to work on. And I don't like the way this looks necessarily, but you can see that you can see my whole entire table now. So here's a 16 by 20 canvas. Let me tell you what I did with this yesterday while I was having anxiety attacks because I couldn't make myself make art. I've drawn out a grid on this. I've used 3-inch squares on this, and since I could not do the math, I left a little extra at the bottom. So what I think I'm going to do, because I am having a little bit of a challenge getting back into art, is what I'd like to do is work on a grid collage. I'll tell you what I like about grid collages. Grid collages are, for me, they're a little bit downhill. I'm a recovering quilter. Started quilting before my son was born. And so while I'm doing that, let me just figure out. All right, so these are the focal point kinds of things. I see myself doing probably, oh, those are so pretty. I just don't know where they're going to go. I think I see, all right, think I see myself starting kind of here. And of the here things, I think I'll start with this. And that. Okay. So what ends up happening when I work on a grid, you'll see me, I get very fussy with my line work, with where things line up. But that's where I'm going to start. So I'd like to work on the 3-inch grid. For you guys that are collaging, and if you don't like working on a grid, tear the stuff up. I'm just trying to figure out how to get started. So I'm going to start the way that is easiest for me. Okay, so I've realized that I've drawn these at 3 1/4, but I don't care. I just want something there to give me some sense of level if I want to line things up. Okay, so I'm going, you know, I'm already having, I know you guys get impatient with me when I'm hard on myself, but this is how I'm going to start. Okay, so approximately you there. I'm just going to work with 6-inch strips for a, oh man, oh man. All right, then I guess that means I'm going to have to change my direction. I'll eventually get around to talking, but right now I just want to kind of figure things out. I think what I may start out by doing is just cutting up strips in colors that I like. That I like next to this. It's going to take me a little while to warm up before I can start talking. Let's start there. Okay. Okay, so I answered a lot of questions in the comments about where people like, where have you been? Where did you go? I have to tell you, I went underground. I had a very, very difficult winter. I talked about it a little bit in my last video. It was a very difficult winter, and I've mentioned before that I am the president of a small co-op in New Hampshire, and it was a very difficult winter. We had frozen pipes, and you know, we're over 55 community, and some of our people who live here, you know, we're over 55, so not everybody has family left. Not everybody. Yeah. So some people need a little bit of extra help with their lives. And because I'm the president, I end up being the one that they reach out to. And sometimes that's a burden. I'll tell you one of the, can I stop myself for a second? I want to show you something. I want to show you. So I did this the other day on camera. And I've been looking at it a lot. And I want to tell you some things that I noticed that's informing this approach. This has a very strong vertical, which the lines stay true until you get here. And this also has a very strong horizontal, which is broken by this. And I found myself wishing that I had carried that line across and carried this line up to give some continuity to, even though this is done on a grid pattern, this whole thing feels very busy, and there's some areas of where my eye just kind of slammed into things. So I'm aware of this. And I also want to point out that I turned these butterflies dark because I thought they needed them, and then I turned them right back to my original decision, which is lighter. So anyways, I'm thinking that I'm going to start this by going vertical, horizontal, yeah, vertical, and working out a plan this way, and then maybe taking this line and carrying it across. This is too much in the center. I'll figure it out. So anyways, I'm way further along than I was yesterday. Yesterday I had to take a nap. I was having such a difficult time getting started doing this that I literally had to take a nap. It was, I spent the whole day on the couch yesterday because I wanted to make art, but I was afraid. It was a long day. Long day. But you know what? There's something really awesome about spending the night on the couch when it's snowing outside. I mean, spending the day on the couch when it's snowing outside. It was actually quite lovely. That's pretty. All right, I like that. Now I would like to carry something forward. What do I want? What do I want? What if... You know, don't even think about it. Just cut it. So what I need is, this. I want this to be cut to 6 inches, which it almost already is. Okay, that's 6 inches. I want, oh, that's making me happy. Let's just do 3. Okay, so I just want to belabor the point. Not everybody likes to design. Not everybody likes to collage this way. Oh, I love that. Okay, I love the contrast of the pink and the blue. I like the contrast of the black and white with the pink. I like that that carries down. Okay, so this is making me happy. So I'm going to actually glue this stuff down. And then I'm going to start addressing this and filling in the blanks. So the point of, just so that you know, the point of these papers is I'm trying to figure out, sorry my head, I'm trying to figure out if I have the right kinds of papers to play together to put in this pack, so that when you get them, if you choose to get them, you are not stymied on how to get started. So I'm going to go get some. I'm not prepared. This glue is almost empty. BRB. So I just went to get this, and it is, don't leave this little bit inside of your things, because it's a rock. You hear that? It's a total rock. So that is a lost cause. All right. So I've got this giant thing. Please don't tell me that's a rock as well. Not encouraging. Not encouraging, guys. Look what's happening here. Okay, this doesn't need to be done on camera, so I'm going to fill my little container up and hope it's not rocks. I'll be back. Be back. Here I am. Here I am again, guys. Okay, I'm going to start gluing. And so this is very far away from my eyes, which are good eyes, but not as maybe good as they used to be. So let's see how I can do this and not show you the top of my hair, which, by the way, I have brushed, but not with any, pardon me, not with any intent. I don't plan on leaving the house today. It's Wednesday, which is normally the day that I meet my friends for breakfast. But their lives have become complicated as well, and they are not available. So I am in my house sweater like Dobby from Harry Potter. Like that little house mouse. See a mouse? Whatever he is. Okay, I'm only just bringing this right to the edge. in case you were wondering, my Princeton Catalyst wedge. Okay, this, just so you know, I tout its wonderfulness every single time I do a video because it is soft and hard at the same time. It's got a stiff edge, but the whole thing is very pliable. It's awesome for use on the gel plate because it does not damage the plate, but it has a good strong edge for smoothing things down. Let's see, I can already see this is going to make me crazy. You see the difference there, that tiny little edge there? Yeah, it's something that for some reason it bothers me. So one of the things that I learned about this camera angle with the video that I posted the other day. So this is, I have an iPhone 13 that I'm using for my camera, and I actually bought a fancy camera, but you know what? That thing came with a 300-page user's manual, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I just used the simple iPhone camera, and there's a setting on it that's called, I don't know, something, 1.5 or whatever. All right, I can already tell you that I have gone astray. I put these lines on here for a purpose, so that I would know that I had straight lines. Is it too late? Hold on, I just want to try something. It may be too late. Problem with designing in a grid. All right, it's not too late. The problem with designing in a grid is that you have to literally, just like with quilting, you have to be very particular about keeping everything aligned, or else you end up with crooked that can't be overcome, because these really straight lines show themselves. All right. All right. I will worry more about vertical than horizontal at this time. Okay, these are already making me very happy. Slide that up just a bit. And I'm just going to keep going. So I don't have anything in particular that I feel like talking about. But I find myself kind of nervous about the quiet, which is a personality thing, because I've been talking since I came out and driving everybody pretty much crazy because of it. Okay, this is what I'm doing, guys. I'm just worrying about the vertical line here. Okay. Here. But I do want to talk about these papers because they are part of the reason I was gone for so long. Did I already tell this story? Oh, well. I was gone so long because I literally had the worst winter that I can remember, and our community was, we did not have water consistently for a month and a half. And with the way that some people responded to that, you'd have thought that I turned off everybody's water but my own. You know, like we literally did this to aggravate you guys. Anyways, we finally figured out what was going on. We got the water running again. We had an excavator come and dig up somebody's lawn, and they found a big leak underneath it. It was a big project. So as soon as I finished that project, I was literally, my neighbor next door, Peter, he and I were attached at the hip for the entire month and a half that this problem was going on. And we were at the well house resetting the pumps and doing all this work, probably 4 or 5 times a day. It was absolutely brutal. So once it was over, once we got the leak fixed and had the pumps rebuilt and did all this stuff, I was so shell-shocked. I just I didn't want to do anything. I didn't have anything in me. So what I ended up doing is sitting in the chair for like literally a solid week of not even moving out of my chair. And then eventually I had to, you know, I had to be a grown up and come out, come out, wherever you are. So I found myself spending way too much time scrolling on my phone. Now there's a way to waste a life, you know, watching all this chaos going on in the world. And even though I say I'm detached from it, it's crap. It's crap. It's hard to be detached from watching the world go upside down. But that's pretty. I decided I can't be on my phone all day long. I'm going to go in my studio and find something to do. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, look how pretty that is on top of there. All right, I've got this vertical line that makes me happy. What have I got? All right. I like that. I like it a lot. Okay, now what I want to do is address this part, which will give me some areas into which to frame. And let's see if I want new papers or existing. Let's see what I have. Okay. I'm questioning the scale on this, so I'm all over the place, guys. Sorry. I haven't had enough coffee. So let me just, all right, so I've got patterns here that are intended to be restful, but see the scale of these patterns? This tells me I need to bring this down. I need to take this art, this particular piece of art I would like to use. I like it how it has the pinks and stuff in it, but it feels large. Even this doesn't feel as restful as I'm searching for in my mind. Of course, I'm looking at it in its full solid piece. This has got some openness. Let me just leave that up there. I think what needs to be next is something strong enough to make this a visual line across, which tells me that's interesting. I don't want to reuse that. Let me put these over here that I chopped up all wrong. Not that. Maybe some of that. Look at how pretty this is. It's just a slice. Look at how pretty it is. I hope you guys like these papers because I'm really excited about them. All right. I think what I'd like to do, I don't like that orange next to that pink. Okay. I think what I'd like to do, I need something to write with that's bright enough. All right, let's try that. So the point of this collection of papers for me, this is going to sound so egotistical. You know, I've lost a child, so I've got this, I don't know, this relationship with death. if you can call it that. It doesn't really, you know, I have a friend, Diane, I asked her one time, what did she think happened to us when we died? And she said something that I was stunned by. She said, I don't know. I never think about it. And I was just so surprised by that, because I don't stop thinking about it. So, then what does that have to do with papers, Sure-E? What it has to do with papers is that I recognize I'm not going to be here someday. And I would like to think that, I like that. I would like to think that something of me will survive my death. Something of me will survive my death so that hold on, apparently I can't think and think at the same time. Much of that. No, going this way. Something of me will have survived my time here. You know, I don't need to be in history books. I don't need any of that kind of stuff. But it would be nice to know that, I don't know, that I made a difference. You know, like on my whole, if you stick around with me for very long, you're going to realize that I'm constantly talking about the meaning of life. I want to know why we're here. I want to know why we're here, why we leave when we leave. You know, why do we come in the first place? If, you know, and everybody's got a different belief system, so I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but, you know, once I lost Neil, I really started to wonder, what is the point of all of this? Why have I even signed up to be here? And I'm getting lost on my story, guys. The point that I'm trying to make is that I want to leave something behind. I want the work that I unfortunately gave up a lot of life to create. And, you know, in the world in which we live, work is life. You know, we don't live in that time when living was life. Now we have to exchange. We have to exchange ourselves, our labor, to actually have a life. So we spend all of our time paying for the life we lived. What does this have to do with paper? I made a lot of art, guys. I made a lot of art that I really enjoyed making. But a little bit of it, or maybe even a lot of it, that's already making me happy, was escape from a life that wasn't that much fun to live. Get to the point. The point is, I want to leave some of this behind. And the thought of other people creating something of their own, using the art that's been buried, sorry about that, the art that's been buried in my computer forever, just has very strong appeal for me. It's not about making money. You know, I make enough with Social Security and stuff to be able to, you know, manage and everything. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is pretty. What does it need? So the idea that you guys would use my art to make your art has very strong appeal. What is it? All right, so I got busy, all right? This is very busy, a lot of patterns going on. This is busy because it's small pattern. So what I learned from this, I'm going to bring in my first lesson. What I learned from this is that this corner is very beautiful to look at, but it's not busy. There are all kinds of soft, subtle things happening here, which there's not enough of here. This works for me. This, if it had come across, would work for me. I'm even wondering if someday those will be managed out. I like the softness of this. See how tight that pattern is? That feels like something I need in here that I don't have. So it's possible I may go get it. I may go get it right now. Hold on. This was actually in the first collage that I made. I also printed this paper and this paper. I can already tell that this is busy for what I have here. So small doses of it, but I'm looking to replace one paper, not two. This might have areas, this actually has some nice areas in it, but it might be too quiet for this, but maybe it needs it. So I'm going to leave this out. And I did print this because this has got some textural areas that I feel like are not going to fight. You know, see, that's interesting. So, okay, that's the planio. All right. So I want to leave this stuff behind for people to play with so that something of me, this is the ego part of it, something of me survives my death. Because I think I would be very entertained by seeing people make art and recognizing my art in it. It just seems like I would really enjoy that. And what I'm doing by doing this on video is I'm doing product development in front of you guys, but I think it matters in the sense that I can work out the details on this so that when you get these papers, other than having a bunch of pretty papers, you might have an actual way to make art that you're proud of and learn something about scale and stuff while you're at it. Because scale is, I'm better at it than I was. I learned a lot of it when I was studying interior design, but it's very important. I'll slice off that, actually. One more. I just replaced my blade. Yeah, from now on I'm going to keep stocking blades because I have to tell you, that made me very, very happy. Now it feels like I'm going to put this whole piece in here, but I don't know its orientation. Hold on a second. I have to look at this again to even see where did I put my line. To literally stare at it until I slice it. Okay. Yeah, see how soft that is with that? That gives you some relief and shows contrast to that. So that I like. I actually think I'm going to go this way because it creates another horizontal line here that I can relate to. So where I am with these papers is I'm probably going to want to release an initial, that's a little bit much, an initial package just to put it in front of you guys and show you what I've been doing. And if you're interested in giving it a test drive, you know, support me in my venture. And getting the feedback will help me know where to go next, you know, like which thing to release. I've got maybe, I'm making stuff up. I might have 4 packages mostly designed, but I want to make a video on each of them before I put them out because this part, even though I was wicked self-conscious about it, here, you're cramping my style, Fiscar. I've learned a lot about what works and doesn't work together. And that's a useful thing. Because it will also, even when I'm working, you know, gel printing, I'm very will o' the wisp. When it comes to gel printing, I do what I want. I don't really think about what I need. I mean, I do, but that doesn't stop me from getting totally distracted and just simply doing what I want. And, okay. And part of this paper thing, besides legacy, besides all of that, trying to do this the easy way, which probably doesn't look awesome on camera, but I had a hard time getting started again. Someone said, I don't even know why you feel nervous. Your work is so beautiful. And, you know, that's awesome. But I'm still, I don't know, I have standards for myself of how I want my work to look and be. That may end up getting something there because this seems bold in terms of a horizontal line. I don't even know if that's important. So my website, because, you know, I do sell, you guys buy, periodically you guys buy bags and, you know, stuff like that with my art on it. But we don't have enough business because I can't be bothered to market. We don't have enough business to make that website earn its keep. So it's more work for us than we would like, simply because neither of us are in practice. Us is being me and Nicole being my girl that worked for me for years. Where's the cover? See this? They have to be covered. BRB, nowhere to be found. So I'll cover it with a damp cloth. All right. So Nicole and I have been running this website, and, you know, I brought her in to the business because I'm tired. I'm going to be 71 tomorrow, the next day. I don't want to work really hard all the time. And Nicole is a lot younger than me by 20 years. But there's not enough business for us to become proficient at our jobs. What's going to happen next? So neither of us are proficient at our jobs. We basically have to be retrained. If somebody needs customer service and has a question about something, you know, we literally have to figure out from the beginning how to help. Okay, for now. So this digital download doesn't require either of us. This would be a happy little product all by itself. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put it down, and I literally, oh, this is so funny, guys. I can't even show you. I can see something white. I have a big dollop of glue on my nose. I can literally see it, and I could not understand why I kept feeling this, seeing this little flash of white. I got a big giant dollop of glue on my nose. Okay, I'm going to put this piece down here in the corner because it's restful. And because I design in grid so much, sometimes there's just these obvious little lines, and I can't believe they actually aligned up here. Boy, I'm going to just lose my train of thought over and over again. So the digital stuff allows me to supplement my income a little bit. Where am I? Supplement my income a little bit without requiring a lot of work on my part, because I do still, I'll be on my board for at least, well, my term ends in August. Oh, I don't mind that, although I don't, anyways, that's where it is. Okay. What would be happy? Okay. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking because this is so busy, and that is busy, they should be friends, not neighbors. This is very open. The red is happy with the black and white. Every time I look down, I can see this white. I thought I picked it all off. It's a lie. I need to go into the bathroom and take care of my take care of my face. I'll do that, and I will do, I think this is going to be 6 inches. We'll find out. I do like that. We'll see. Sometimes you just have to put something down so that you can figure out what's going to go next to it. One response at a time. Get my head out of the way. Sorry, guys. Actually, the head is really annoying. Let me just turn my way so I can see what I'm doing without putting my head in. So these papers, I keep going back to the papers because that's the whole point of my trying to figure this out. These will be a digital download. And what you will do is you'll download it to your computer and then print it, or take it to a copy shop and have the pages printed. And every printer's different. I think mine prints them fairly dull. I don't think the colors are bright. Now, I made that decision without thinking about this decision, but maybe it doesn't matter. So, do I want to continue with color, or do I... I love this, but I don't think it's gonna love this place. Well, that's interesting. Look at how there's a little bit of tension between those two. I'm going for it. Because I covered up the other thing with so many different things. Let's see, maybe I can leave this a little bit longer. Okay, right there. That's a pretty little thing. All right, I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I'm putting this, ooh, that's a little zealous, a little overzealous with the glue. Where'd you go? Where are you, my friend? Just want to get some glue on the backside. Okay. Sorry, guys. I can't see. I can't see what I'm doing. Look at that shape. Look at that shape, I said, with a paintbrush in my mouth, so you can't understand me. So I also thought, I'd be curious to hear what you'd say. I tried to, and I can do it, I just don't know how. I tried to downscale this and its vase, well, there's not much left, this vase friend. Look how sweet those are together. I tried to downsize them so that they could be used in like a still life thing, and I haven't quite figured out how to do that. But I have to tell you, based on what I'm finding here, I kind of really like it that I didn't downsize it. So I was be curious if you'd be interested in, like, you know, something like that. I've got to go I got to get it off my nose, guys. I also had a thought while I was out there. It was a giant dollop of freaking white glue on my nose. I also had a thought that, see this contact sheet? So I think there's going to be 12 papers in each package, and I can print 4 on each sheet. So I could have 4, larger designs on each sheet so that you could use them as like a little icon. Or I like that idea. Okay, let me tell you what makes me happy about this. Look at how hot this area is, and I just like that shape. I don't know, I just like how that shape, it's almost like shaped like somebody's head. That's making me kind of happy. So the question is, all right, this is coming up. The question is, do I keep, what do I keep? What do I do? What's going to go here? All right, I'll tell you what I like. I really like this. I like to think that it's going to stay in the pack. How freaking cute this is. It's busy. That's a busy little thing. What about psychic message, guys? I'm seeking your psychicness. Okay. I'm pulling this close into myself so I can see and draw my line. This is going in. I have to stick my gold pen underneath the damp cloth. Okay, it's going there. It's going there, guys. I love the way that looks chopped up. All right, I'm excited about this package. I think these are very fun together. I like that little bit of blue in there. It's a surprise from all of these hot things. I feel like I need to do more of that. What happened? How come you didn't finish cutting this up? Look at these slices. Those freaking slices are gorgeous. This is so exciting. Sorry, guys. I can't see. I can't see what I'm doing. Look at that shape. Look at that shape, I said, with a paintbrush in my mouth, so you can't understand me. So I also thought, I'd be curious to hear what you'd say. I tried to, and I can do it, I just don't know how. I tried to downscale this and its vase, well, there's not much left, this vase friend. Look how sweet those are together. I tried to downsize them so that they could be used in like a still life thing, and I haven't quite figured out how to do that. But I have to tell you, based on what I'm finding here, I kind of really like it that I didn't downsize it. So I was be curious if you'd be interested in, like, something like that. I've got to go I got to get it off my nose, guys. BRB. I also had a thought while I was out there. It was a giant dollop of freaking white glue on my nose. I also had a thought that, see this contact sheet? So I think there's going to be 12 papers in each package, and I can print 4 on each sheet. So I could have 4, larger designs on each sheet so that you could use them as like a little icon. Or I like that idea. Okay, let me tell you what makes me happy about this. Look at how hot this area is, and I just like that shape. I don't know, I just like how that shape, it's almost like shaped like somebody's head. That's making me kind of happy. So the question is, all right, this is coming up. The question is, do I keep what do I keep? What do I do? What's going to go here? All right, I'll tell you what I like. I really like this. I like to think that it's going to stay in the pack. How freaking cute this is. It's busy. That's a busy little thing. What about psychic message, guys? I'm seeking your psychicness. Okay, it's going there. It's going there, guys. I love the way that looks chopped up. All right, I'm excited about this package. I think these are very fun together. I like that little bit of blue in there. It's a surprise from all of these hot things. I feel like I need to do more of that. What happened? How come you didn't finish cutting this up? Yes, that little bit of blue, a little bit of teal. That's a surprise. That's very good. So just a little note about this piece of chopped up t-shirt. Using a damp cloth when you are trying to get around edges like this, it helps because it softens the paper fibers and get it around there a little bit better. Okay, that makes me happy. It's all about being happy, right, guys? Does that blue want to carry across? I want to use this. Where can you? This is busy. Maybe I need just a square of it. I'm doing it. I'm going to put it right in that little corner right there. Ooh, 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 ooh. I need to find out if I don't cut my papers the same size all the time, I end up having to do math. Okay, that's 3. I keep apologizing for slamming that thing closed, but I keep slamming it closed. Look at this piece of thing. Look at that fun little thing. Come here, you. So you guys, if you've made art that you're even a little bit proud of, make more art with it. Helen Wells does it all the time. She uses her art to make more art. And I remember the first time I saw her do that, I a little bit thought maybe that she was cheating. And then I thought, what's the cheating? Because this is the papers that I created, or this is the sketchbook page that I created. Why not have it show up in another piece of art? It's all the same source. So, sorry, Helen. I take that all back. You know, really just, maybe I can put something on that so it doesn't make so much racket, or I could stop being so aggressive. Okay, that little thing makes me happy. Which also makes me feel like something down here might make me happy too, but I'm going to leave that alone. What has not made it into this collage yet? This. Okay, I've got everything in here. That's encouraging, right? That means all of the papers are... Oh, I don't have my vase in here yet. Or whatever, you know, whatever this is. Maybe I could take that line out. Try it. Just try it, Cherie. You know, I want to make sure that if it's included in the pack, I want it to be useful. I liked the way this carried the red across. I'll leave that there for a minute. I don't mind that either, I'll tell you that. These little shapes do something to the grid to make the grid just a little bit more interesting, which I do like. Stop with the noise, Cherie. Oh, this is going together much faster than the last one. Feels like maybe that should be dark to make that shape wrap around. We'll see. Psychic message, guys. Looking for some guidance here. Look at it, I got a corner left, but I don't know what it wants. I brought this in which is extra. I'm going to treat that as a different collection. Where should you like to go, my little friend? Am I going to force you in here? What would I do? That should be dark. It feels like it should be dark. Huh. I can't believe I'm going to be able to cut this right exactly on the lines that exist in the design. Look at this. See that line? I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to cut that. That's amazing. Oh, I like that there. I like it how it carries that dark around. I did not cut it long enough, but those are minor details in there. This is fairly exacting work in the sense that when I work in a grid, I personally expect my grid to conform. Is this going to not make it into the pack, or is it just going to make it into a different collage? Because this is freaking adorable. I'm going to put it there, and I may need to do something else to it, which includes coloring in with, you know what I bought? I didn't tell you guys because I haven't been around. I bought a pack of, I think, 104 Ohuhu alcohol markers. And because I've been in such a funk, I haven't done anything with them. But they are some colors. Maybe I'm going to resort to wetting this piece of paper with that misting thing and see if it makes it wrap easier. Kind of cool thing about these papers is they are not covered with paint, so they can take a licking. I mean, they'll soften right up. Paint keeps the paper from absorbing, so it can make it a challenge to, let's get some glue on that. It can make it a challenge to get it to stick down sometimes. You have to really use strong glue. All right, let's give that a try. Maybe it feels like it's going to need another reference. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look, shall we? I'd like to get more of that down here, and I actually think down here, so I buy the cheapest possible copy paper, which is probably why my colors don't come out really bright when I print them. I don't know how they look on camera. See, they probably look brighter on camera because you're watching it on a computer screen, and everything on a computer screen is backlit. So everything is going to look more vivid on a computer screen than it does in person. So you should be aware of that when you're looking at these things online. They will always look more vivid online than they will be coming from your printer. So it's not your printer. It's the nature of our digital world. It looks bigger than life on TV than it does in real life. Okay, I don't mind that. I like that little thing sticking up there. I like the way it relates to that up there. Sometimes I have a tendency to want to do things 3 times. What's going to go in here? Is it going to be blue? I don't know why that just came to me. What if it's the rest of the little base? It's busy next to busy. Look how cute it is. Where does it want to go? Can I have more? I want more. That's nice together. Okay, let's give it a go. I really wish my table were bigger, but you know what? I'm grateful to have any table at all. Got the tiniest small home studio that you've ever seen. It's a tiny little bedroom. You can fit a twin bed. If you put a double bed, that'd be that's all you get. If you want a double bed, you can only have a double bed. No side table, no bureau. But you know what? I've got this place loaded down with stuff. Okay, well, I think what I probably need to do for a minute, since I have this thing covered, is I should like to contemplate what I have done, because I mostly like it. I wish that this continued, but it does continue. That, let me get this out of the way. I'd like more of this down here or possibly there. We'll see. I'll be back. I'm going to contemplate. I'm going to go have a cup of coffee because mine's gone cold. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I think I'm going... Okay, well, I think what I probably need to do for a minute, since I have this thing covered, is I should like to contemplate what I have done, because I mostly like it. I wish that this continued, but it does continue. That, let me get this out of the way. I'd like more of this down here or possibly there. We'll see. I'll be back. I'm going to contemplate. I'm going to go have a cup of coffee because mine's gone cold. I'll be back. I have this piece of paper that I was all excited about that was the friend of that. It must not want to cooperate because it is gone, and I have torn this studio apart. Oh, look it. It just turned up. Does it want to go there? I love that color. I like that color next to that. This is the same piece of paper. All right. You may find this in here. It feels like there's a little bit of balance issues in terms of, but what I've proven to myself is that these papers are happy together. These, even though I was unsure about the orange, and these are happy together. These are making me very happy. I may still end up doing some work down here, and I've got some patching where I've cut things wrong, but I'm actually going to call this piece. So let me adjust my, I'm going to call this piece. So hold on. I'm going to get on my chair. It's not a chair, guys. I make it sound like I'm endangering my life. I'm not endangering my life. I'm stepping up on a tiny little step stool. Okay. Now we're back in frame again, and you don't get to see the whole entire place. All right, so I've got this thing that I've created that I like a lot. I'm going to show it all to you from the top to the bottom. I'll put it diagonally, which shows you the most of it. There's a lot about this that I like. There's a part of me that wants to get out some of those magic markers and play around with some of this, but we'll see. What I wanted to do is prove to myself that the papers were happy together, and they are. So I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. When you see this piece of art at another time, it might be slightly different, but this is the bulk of it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching me try to figure out a new direction, which is actually really quite fun because I'm learning a lot about scale and color relationships. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this idea that I'm getting ready to throw all my energy into. Is this something that you'd enjoy working with? Thanks. See ya. Bye. Actually, I'm back. I'm cleaning up, and I just need to show you the fun scraps that are left over from this project, and how much fun they are together, and how you've got another collage. We all have another collage coming out of this. That might be, you know what? Maybe that'll be my next collage. Maybe I'll just make something on an 11 by 14 with these leftover papers. That sounds like a plan EO. Watch for that. I will let you know. Maybe I'll even do it today, because you know what? It's only 10 o'clock in the morning because I got an early start. Okay, I'm really saying goodbye now. Bye.